Yo, what's going on, guys? This is the Sixers versus Raptors post-game show. The Sixers got the W, moved to 3-1 on the season. A huge W. In fact, 24 of the last 28 games in the regular season, the Sixers have lost. Unbelievable. 4 times since 2013. But the drought stops now. The Sixers got the W. They beat the Raptors 100-93. Today, we're going to talk about our top takeaways. And let's start off with my man, Justin, who has been with us the entire time during our Sixers versus Raptors watch party. Follow him on Twitter at J_Persichetti. What's going on, Justin?
Listen, I'm happy. We won a tough game. We weren't making shots from the end of the game. We started hitting at the end, started playing really good defense against the Raptors. Honestly, we played good defense against the Raps the whole game, in my opinion. They were just hitting tough shots at the three-point line. Really enjoyed the game, though. Go Sixers.
Also joining us is my man, Rob Lange, the voice of the people. Follow him on Twitter at Philly_Madness. What is up, man?
I think you saw what a Doc Rivers coach team does when facing adversity tonight, because, I mean, this team faced every bit of adversity, from shooting horrendously to watching Toronto 18 or 17 or 18 threes in the game, to really dealing with what I thought was very poor officiating throughout. Some of them officials did not have their best night. But gritty fight. And to me, it comes down to 2 guys. It's Joe, right? I said after the first game that if he could be a guy that averages around that 29 points, and he's been right there every night that he's played. But for listen, for Twitter, all right, here's the voice of the people. If you're going to rip a guy every game when he goes off for the 26 that he did tonight, and Tobias Harris, give the man his due, because not only that, he made some really clutch defensive plays in this game, and I thought that he was a major difference maker on the floor tonight. And I know that this town hates him, but you need to get over that, because Tobias brings something to this team. He really does. So, all in all, I'm a happy guy tonight.
He brings it to this team when man Tiago on Twitter at T-Scabby. How you doing, Tiago?
Yeah, man. I mean, this is exciting. You knew you were going to get Toronto's best shot tonight. They've been playing some very poor basketball. Defensively, we're playing very poor. And Toronto brought it tonight, man. They absolutely brought it tonight. And the Sixers took a big punch in the face in that first half.
Yeah.
Like Rob said, they weathered adversity. It looked absolutely awful offensively at times, but we talked about here in the past, like, the DNA of this team is defense. And if you look around the NBA, they are absolutely one of the top defensive teams in the NBA today. So it's nice to see this carried on from game to game, outside of the little collapse against Cleveland. But that's been their DNA, and that's exciting. That's exciting. It's something to build on for sure.
Let's go into top takeaways of this game. My top takeaway is defense. Ben Simmons locking down Pascal Siakam, 8 of 23 from the floor, -14. You look at that second half. You talked about it, Rob. Doc Rivers making adjustments in the second half. The Toronto Raptors scored 37 points total in the second half, outscoring them by 15 points. That defensive intensity, I would love to know. We're reacting to this right as it ended, and I would love to know what the shooting looked like for the Raptors in that second half, because the defensive intensity increased. What about you, Justin? What was your main takeaway from this game?
So my main takeaway was the defense and the fouls. I think that made a big difference in this game. The Raptors ended the game with 27 fouls. The Sixers ended the game with 15. And in general, the Sixers defense was immaculate. 10 steals, 10 blocks. Great defense. Although the Raptors had 12 steals and 7 blocks, they did have those 27 fouls and let Joel Embiid get to the line 14 times. So that, against anytime you're playing Joel Embiid, if you're letting him get to the line that many times, you're going to have a serious issue. And sorry, he got to the line 16 times, made 14 of them.
What about you, Rob?
Listen, I think you guys hit it on the head. I think they came defensively, and they had a grind tonight, because early on, I mean, I felt like every time Fred VanVleet shot, he wasn't going to miss. I felt every time Pascal Siakam shot, he wasn't going to miss. I mean, they were hitting everything. But they stuck with it, and what I really liked was You saw the intensity in Ben down the stretch on Pascal Siakam. He kind of they put him on an island with the guy, and he did a great job in neutralizing him as much as he could. But even the guys that are not known as defensive players, Tobias Harris, I thought did some nice things. I thought Shake Milton at times did some nice things on the defensive end. It's not easy to guard guys like Kyle Lowry all night. I thought Danny Green. I know people are frustrated with Danny Green. He does. You got to take what you can get from a guy like that. And I thought on the defensive end, he gave you a couple really nice plays down the stretch that I thought were very, very important. I know he's not hitting the shots. He did hit a 3-0 tonight. I know he had the turnover, but defensively it's great. But for me, it's the continuing dominance of Joel Embiid.
I will say though, is that what we're saying for Danny Green at this point? Like, he hit a shot today. Like, is that where we're at this point with him?
You got Danny Green getting rid of Al Horford's contract. Austin put this out on Twitter. It's a great point. You couldn't think you were getting an all-star back for that, right? Mm-hmm. Like, Danny Green is who he is at this point in his career. And honestly, I think you're going to see him hit more than a shot as time goes on and he gets a little bit more comfortable. But I want to just get back to Joel because, listen, this is a guy who Aaron Baines has kind of taken out of his game in the past, and Joel just flat out kicked his ass tonight. I mean, it wasn't even close. I mean, he was all over him. Then they went to Alex Len. He had nothing for him other than his injury, and I say that because it's interesting how it came off a turnover and he got injured. Sometimes these stars don't like to be embarrassed on the floor, so they have an injury for a couple minutes. But his continued dominance has got to be exciting for all of us.
And just to piggyback off of Danny Green, as much as that guy is struggling offensively and shooting the three, he's the third best defensive rating outside of Ben and Joel. Tiago, what's your take on this game?
Yeah, I mean, Danny Green, you can tell he's in preseason mode. Like, the Lakers just played like 2 months ago. He hasn't had a preseason. It's going to take a little time. But if you're going to get on my man Ben Simmons to shoot the ball, you got to hit some threes, Danny Green. I'm sorry, man. You can't get both ways, man. I thought, like, defensively, like, the key thing in the first half, what I saw was, like, their transition defense is really bad, and it continues to be bad. So off misses, guys are coming up, and Toronto wants to hit you quick. So they have, like, they don't no longer have Marcus Gasol. They have another ball handler on the court. So they want to get rebound and get down the court and hit you quick. And they were doing that to the Sixers a lot in the first half. And you can tell in the second half, first of all, they hit more shots, which helps you set up your defense. And then second of all, they were just more aware of what was happening in transition. So, Kyle Lowry has the ball. I don't jog over there as if I'm Mike Scott. I get on his face and put the pressure on him to make the pass. So I thought that defensively, they were just more tight and they were much more aware of who to pick up in transition. So I thought that, as you guys all mentioned, it started there. The comeback really started there, and it flowed from then on out.
Diverse conscious says you look a lot of different.
Yeah, man. Let me go get my championship rings in the basement.
Yo, can we talk about Seth Curry for a second?
Yes.
Can we talk about Seth Curry? Seth hit some clutch shots today, and that's true. He hit some clutch threes in the fourth quarter, but also, like, this is something that I'm so excited about because he did this in the first game too, where he hit some clutch shots, got some clutch assists off in the last quarter. Seth scored 17 points tonight. Oh, I just had it. Oh my goodness. Seth scored 17 points tonight with 4 assists, 6 rebounds, 5 for 11 from the field. He had 1 block, 1 steal, 50% from 3 with 4 free throws. Like, what more can you ask for the guy from a guy that's supposed to is a 45% 3-point shooter and also had a steal and a block on defense?
It's funny, right? He's a 45% three-point shooter, and I feel like people out there think that means he's going to hit all but like 1 or 2 shots. Like 45% means you're still going to miss 50% of your 3-point.
Right.
It's literally like he misses one and you go to Twitter and it's like, oh my God, I guess it's the Philly uniform. He doesn't know how to shoot anymore. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, guys. I was like,
it's the first quarter. Chill.
Michael brought up a great point. this is a weird beginning to a season for the NBA. These guys just finished in the summer, and they're starting in December. Nobody, and they played 2 preseason games with a 2-week training camp. You're going to get ugly basketball early. Like at some points tonight, it was just turnovers on both ends. That's what's going to happen. These guys aren't ready for this yet.
Yeah, I mean, watch the Lakers last night against Portland. The second half, they looked tired. AD took something like 12 shots. He wanted none of that, what was happening last night. So it's around the league. Obviously, the Sixers have bigger issues to figure it out offensively, but the sloppiness is across the board.
I will say that the fact that the Sixers are 3-1 right now and we're this sloppy at times should show people how good this team could possibly be. The fact that we can come back in a game like this where it's looking terrible in the first quarter, especially against a Raptors team that has congruency, that's been together for the past few years, that shows a lot for the Sixers, in my opinion.
We had some hate on Seth Curry today during the live stream. This is a guy that had a 71% true shooting percentage, nearly 20% assist percentage, and his offensive rating was 143.7. Imagine what that's going to look like tomorrow. So, like I said, you're going to take some time to develop this offense, but you got to love what you see from defense. Let's dive into player of the games. Marquise says, I don't want to say this, but in my book, Tobias Harris is my player of the game in my book. Thiago, lead us off. Who is your player of the game tonight?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Tobias. Listen, Joel's Joel. I expect every night Joel to be that kind of player, but Tobias took on the extra load tonight in the fourth quarter. He was the one creating the shots off pick and roll. He was the one drawing the tough defensive assignments on Kyle Lowry. And he was fantastic, man. He made plays on both ends of the court. He's processing the game much faster, passing, less dribbling, shooting off the catch. Is he ever going to be worth that money? No. But this is the player you want Tobias Harris to be with the Sixers.
Yeah. Rob Smith says, just got here, but impressed with Tobias tonight. Hit clutch shots. What about you, Rob?
I agree. Look, a double-double for Tobias Harris. He was rebounding the basketball as well. I thought he made some really good defensive plays. And Thiago said it. Stop thinking of the money with Tobias Harris. What you got tonight may not be worth that contract, but that's what you need from that guy on this team. And if you get – look, to be honest with you, hopefully you don't need 26 points a night from him. But if you get 20 points a night from Tobias Harris, I don't care what the contract number is. All I care about is wins for this basketball team and for this team to make a strong playoff push. It's Tobias Harris like that, regardless of the contract that you need. Great effort by him. I'm happy for the guy because I really do like him. And I think he plays a leadership role in this team a little bit more than people understand.
Yeah, to that point, watch who's talking on the court. It's Tobias Harris. When things are going bad, he's the one communicating with Ben, with Joel. He takes on the leadership quality in a big way for the team.
AOS says, I'm back. Hopefully Tobias can play like this for the rest of the whole season. Justin, who's your player of the game?
I'm sorry to repeat it, guys, but I'm going to say Tobias Harris as well. He played 37 minutes, 11 for 20 from the field, which isn't great, but definitely isn't bad. It isn't bad either. 2 blocks, 2 steals, 2 for 5 from 3, 100% from the free throw line, a plus 21 on the game. Honestly, played really great defense, played what we needed him to play on offense. What you can't ask for much more.
Yep. I obviously it's Tobias Harris, but I'm gonna go Ben. Give me Ben. Let's go Ben. Help out the team was led by defense tonight. 93 points from the Raptors. They got back to where how this is the recipe of how the Sixers are gonna win for the next 20 games or so. They have to win by defense. It's what we saw in the first season opener and the Knicks game. It got away from them in the Cavs game because Joel Embiid was hurt or didn't play. He rested, and Dwight Howard was in foul trouble. This was the game we wanted to see, and that's the energy I love to see from Ben Simmons, especially in that second half, just shutting it down. Let's go into how would you grade this performance tonight from the Sixers? Thiago, lead us off.
Yeah, defensively, you get an absolute A throughout the board. Offensively, it's between a D plus and a C minus. This team has a long way to go offensively, man. A long way to go. They're trying to pull stuff from Brett's system, like the little DHOs with Seth Curry. And you can tell, like, it's not the same player. Like, Curry's not as fast as JJ, so that looks clunky. It's not as effective. Usually what happens is, ball gets stuck, you just dump it down on Joel, and he gets fouled, and you get 2 shots. So is that sustainable offense for the foreseeable future? I don't know. But, defensively, they get an A. They really put it all on the line tonight defensively.
What about you, Rob?
Yeah, I mean, I think defensively, you'd be hard-pressed not to give them an A because that's what kept them in the game when things were not going well on the offensive side of the ball. One of the frustrating things about that first half was I felt like they got some open shots, but they weren't knocking them down whatsoever. But, my cousin, who's a good basketball mind, had texted us, and he said it, part of their problem is their passing. If you watch when they don't pass to the shot, you know what I mean? Their passes are off, which makes a guy take more time to gather himself to get that shot up. Hence, you're going to miss more shots doing that. So, I think some passing drills may actually help them shoot better, as weird as that sounds. And like I said, I expect that to come. I didn't expect the offense to be a finished product in the beginning of this season. But they do have some work to do. There's no doubt about it. And there's times where, like tonight, the bench wasn't scoring the way you had hoped. And at times they had lineups out there where you were going, Jesus, who's going to score the ball? I can't believe I'm going to say this comment, but it's amazing when Matisse is out there instead of Furkan. You're like, well, God, you don't even have a guy that can remotely shoot. I can't believe I have to say that. I would like there to be a new player at some point to take that role so I don't have to look for Furkan. But you know what I mean. So I'd say A on defense. I'd say probably C+ on offense. Late in the game, they played well.
What about you, Justin?
Oh, I just lost audio. That's amazing. 1 second.
All right. I'll give them
You can move on. I'll say something at some point. 1 sec.
I'll go B. The only concern I have from this game, 10 points from the bench. We've seen kind of Shake Milton. I liked his defense at times in this second half, but the 10 points off the bench is a major concern. That was one of my biggest positives for the Sixers moving forward this season was that second unit between Tyrese Maxey, Shake Milton, Dwight Howard, pick and roll. We've seen kind of Dwight Howard be a little phased out. I don't know what's happening, whether or not he's in cruise control or what, but he seems to be struggling with fouls. He seems to be out of sync on offense. And then Tyrese Maxey struggled a little bit today. As expected, this guy's a rookie. No concerns there. But that second unit, I would love to see develop. But this is the basketball I love to watch. A team that wins by defense all day, baby. Justin, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. How would you grade the Sixers' performance tonight?
Sixers' performance altogether, I think obviously the first half didn't look pretty when it came offensively. Defensively, I think we looked good the whole game. Overall, got the win. I'm going to say A-. I think offensively, we got to get the better three-pointers going off, obviously. But I think that has to do a lot with the passing and just generally the flow of the offense not off, kind of like what Rob was saying. The flow of the offense is off, is what I meant to say there. So I think I'm going to give it an A-. They got the dub. They played well in the fourth quarter. Overall, can't be too mad at it.
I know. Like I said, the Sixers have lost 24 of 28 games since 2013 in the regular season versus the Toronto Raptors. That is insane. That is an insane number. And you won tonight against a Toronto Raptors team that's pretty good. And just that was a real gut check game. That was a real gut check where the Sixers really showed up in the second half, showed some heart, something the Eagles haven't done in 15 weeks. And it was,
we don't, dude. I posted my first mock draft on Twitter today, and I pissed people off because I went wide receiver first round, running back second round. I said, let's just do it.
Oh my God.
All right, let's roll.
One more point though to close out the discussion here is, you're starting to see a little bit of an identity offensively in crunch time. So this is something I really want to see from Doc. When the game is on the line, what are your go-to plays to close the game out? And it's not just dumping the ball to Joel and praying. So they started doing a lot of like Joel, Tobias 1-2 off the pick and roll. And Tobias hit back-to-back buckets off that. So just pay attention for that going forward. Like, that is a real play that the Sixers are going to use to close games out. And Tobias has been money from that mid-range look. So
I'm just really proud of the Sixers because you had an embarrassing loss versus the Cavaliers. You were the seemingly the Raptors couldn't miss from 3 in that first half, and that was just that's Sixers basketball. That's what I want to watch from this team moving forward. A team that prides itself on defense, a team that is gritty and will fight. And we haven't seen a fight in Philadelphia in quite some time.
yeah.
So let's go on to final thought. All right, Rob, you have something to say.
Yeah, just somebody just sent this to me. It was one of Doc's quotes from his post-game presser. He was asked about Ben, and I guess the shooting, right, comes back up. And I just love this quote. I mean, this is why I love Doc, right? This is why Doc is who he is. His quote is, "I like to win. I love the way he runs the team. I love the way he defends. That's for you guys out there to choose to obsess over what he doesn't do."
Yes, thank you.
That is what we're trying to say. Like, I understand that there was the one play tonight where they all stood in the lane and Ben was wide open on the wing for 3, right? And actually, John Clark actually tweeted out and said, "Tough to play that way." No, okay, because Ben still almost had a triple-double, all right? And he still was locked down on a guy who was as hot as Pascal Siakam was in the first half. So just stop obsessing on the shot because ESPN and highlight reels tell you have to. What Ben does on a floor, very few people can do.
Dunder Dude says, "Can we give Ben some love?" He was my player of the game. Tiago, final thoughts, and then we'll do plugs. You're up, man.
Yeah, I mean, I have a feeling we're going to have this Ben discussion for the next 5 to 10 years until he's here, man. I'll tell you this. You watch Milwaukee in the playoffs and what teams do to Giannis. They are praying that Giannis shoots jump shots in the playoffs. They pray that he shoots. And if it comes down to the Sixers needing Ben Simmons to shoot jump shots to win, then this whole thing went haywire because it's not going to happen. Like, he's never going to be a proficient shooter. So, you know, like Rob said, focus on the things that he does at a high elite level in the court. His passing, his vision, his defense are all game-changing elements of the game. And I thought that overall he had a pretty subpar game. But again, he impacts the game when it matters. And like, there's only a very few number of players that can do that in the NBA today. So that's going to be my Ben take.
Justin, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. I mean, listen, it's a gritty win, like you were saying. I love when the Sixers win, so I'm liking that. Tobias Harris stepped up today and did what he had to do, and you love to see that with all the hate he's been getting. Joel Embiid gave that same old 29 and a double-double. We love to see it. And defensively, I can't stress it enough. Once again, Doc Rivers said in the beginning of the season, and the players said in the beginning of the season, that's how they're going to live until they can get this offense rolling, and that's what they did tonight. Great game overall, in my opinion. They got the win. Let's move on next Thursday.
What about you, voice of the people?
Well, look, I think that this is a game in the past couple of years, the Sixers lose this game and maybe get blown out in this game. I saw a team that was locked in on the defensive end when they needed to be. Listen, you know I was a Brett Brown guy, but this is the difference between a Doc coach team and a Brett coach team. I mean, you saw it tonight. They didn't give up. They kept fighting. They kept scratching and clawing. Once they started hitting shots, they were causing turnovers and wreaking havoc down the other end of the floor. And that's exciting. And, you know, Justin kind of mentioned it earlier. The fact that this team is 3-1 right now, with the problems that are obviously there, that are out there, is a good thing. And to exercise the demons of the Raptors, right? Like we kind of said last night, Dives, on Party on Broad, we said I need to see them beat the Raptors. I know it's not a make or break game for the season, but I need to see them beat the Raptors because Kawhi's quadruple bounce is always going to be in my head. A night like tonight.
Why do you bring it up?
You know who brought it up tonight? Allah brought it up during the game. He said they have leave Toronto. They have a full wall mural in one of their terminals of the shot, and he said, so whenever you leave, You have to see it. I was like, that's the worst thing I've ever heard in my life.
I would never fly to Toronto.
Nope, I'm not.
Did they not want Philadelphia tourists to go there?
Yeah, I'm not going. I'm not ever going to that airport. But no, great win, and hopefully they can exercise another demon on New Year's Eve with the Orlando Magic, who seem to own them as well.
Yeah.
I would say I think Orlando's beating OKC right now.
Wow. What's the winning percentage for the Sixers in Orlando? It's like ridiculously low. It's crazy. Anyway, my final thoughts is pump the brakes, guys. Pump the brakes on all these James Harden for Ben Simmons trades, because that's all we've heard over the last 3.5, 4 hours since we've been live streaming. The Sixers are 3-1. They've beaten the Raptors 4 times since 2013. Can we just enjoy this? Like, other than the Cavs game, which you absolutely just throw that out the window, they've looked good, especially defensively. If you've been watching us, you've been hearing that we've been telling you, just pump the brakes on the offense. It's going to come. It's going to come. It's going to come. The pieces are there. Again, that was kind of the story last year too. But anyway, the story, long story short, I think it's going to work, and it was a gritty performance by the Sixers. Enjoy it. Be happy. 2020 has given us this much, Philly sports fans, to enjoy. The Sixers are 3-1. You just held the Toronto Raptors to 93 points. Great stuff. What about you, Thiago? What do you want to plug?
So I do like a weekly piece on the Painted Lines to talk about a league storyline, a Sixers storyline, a college basketball prospect. So if you want to stay up to date on what's going on around the NBA and in the draft world, make sure to check that out. So we'll be dropping that sometime in the week into early next week.
It's really terrific. It is so good. You have data. You have awesome analysis on the NBA draft. Really check that out. thepaintlines.com. You're up, Justin.
Yeah, I mean, if you go follow my Twitter at @J_Persichetti. It's right there at the bottom of the screen. Subscribe to the Painted Lines on YouTube. Like the video, please. It would really help us out. We're on the road to 3,000 subscribers right now. Go follow the Painted Lines on Twitter. I tweet on there a good amount. Go check out the Phillies. The Phillies just made a big trade, their first trade in the offseason. So just follow us on all socials.
I haven't heard the P word in quite some time.
We get a catcher.
Yeah, so the Padres trade for like 3 All-Stars. And the Phillies get like a bullpen guy. Let's go.
Padres did this week after they signed Manny Machado, and now they're going for it. And watching the Phillies owner cry poor with $2 billion in his bank account enraged me about that.
But Rob, we got a reliever, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, we got a reliever. Get me JT, and I'll be back in business.
All right, Rob, what do you want to plug?
All right, so Voice of the People, I'm going to record tomorrow my New Year's resolutions for the Philadelphia sports world. They're not going to be happy. I'm going to rip a lot of people and probably make some enemies in the business and on Twitter. And you know what? That's what the new year is all about. It's about doing what you feel is right, and what's right for me is to piss people the hell off. So I'm going to record that tomorrow. Maybe we'll put it out on New Year's Day as a Happy New Year to you. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see how that works. And then you can catch me on with Party on Broad with the Madness. Follow me at Philly_Madness.
Fantastic. All right. Thank you, everybody here, for commenting. Please be sure to like. Please be sure to subscribe. The comments were outstanding tonight, as well as the views. I just want to say thank you, everyone here, especially our regs that have been just consistently commenting and joining with us. Just a total blast. The Sixers moved to 3-1. We will be back on Thursday for New Year's Eve. The Sixers take on Markelle Fultz and the Orlando Magic. Maybe we can get that monkey off our back.
Don't forget about Cole Anthony and Nikola Vucevic either, dude. Vucevic gives us hell.
Yep. So that'll be fun. Tomorrow night, we've got the Faithful Fanatics. I think 5 o'clock, and the Daily Dose at 6 o'clock. And I believe we have Flyered Up to get you ready for the Philadelphia Flyers season, which I think goes down around a couple weeks from now. I know, Rob, we're going to have to start really double dipping on these Flyers, because I'm excited, man. I cannot wait for the Flyers.
You're fired up? You're fired up then?
Yeah, we know you got to be. Listen, our spring and fall team gave us shit this year. Our other teams need to really bounce back. We need this. We need this.
All right, guys, let's wrap it up. Make sure you follow my man Tiago on Twitter at tscabia. Check out all of his work at thepainterlines.com. Follow my man Justin on Twitter at j_persichetti. He is the one who runs our social media accounts. Give him love. Give him a follow. And the voice of the people at Philly_Madness. Check out the Madness podcast on Thursday nights with Jessica Town. It is phenomenal stuff. For Rob, for Justin, for Tiago, for myself, Sixers win. Stay awesome, guys.
Peace.